Y'all gonna have to take your time with me this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Okay. Y'all gonna have to take your time with me this morning, like I was saying, man. There's a lot of things going on, and today I was a little behind, as we can all see. But I always tell you, I always show up for you guys because you guys show up for me. So yeah, man. I wanted to just jump around and what's been going on lately, as far as like the entertainment world, and then as far as like our communities. So we're gonna just take our time through this whole thing. I'm just trying to get my mind right and get my energy up this morning because today it's just so many things going on. I want to give some healing energy out to my boy Roger. Healing energy out to my auntie. My goodness, there's just so much going on. But we here now, and we gonna do it. God's blessed us all to see another day, so we gotta just enjoy it and make the best of it. Okay, so I'm hearing. I never I never heard of his music, but I've heard a rapper BlocBoy was arrested for allegedly falling asleep at the intersection with a gun and drugs in the car. When I heard that, the gun part of it, I didn't seem, it didn't seem too off because he's a rapper. He needs something to protect himself. But the falling asleep and the drugs part, that those two put together right there, it said to me that I don't know what drugs he was using, but it just said, it's kind of like you're off point anyway. So what's the sense of walking with a gun if you're gonna be intoxicated or if you're gonna be just maybe high? What's the sense of walking with a weapon? Because at the end of the day, it says you're still not going to be on point even using the weapon. So, what carrying a weapon, there's a lot of things that comes with it, and maybe them catching you at the light, falling asleep, it was a better thing for you because it could have been somebody else out to do harm to you. So you just gotta thank God for your blessings. Sometimes blessings come in different packages, and some people look at it like, why did this happen to me? And then you start realizing, thank God this happened to me. So that's one of those type of situations. I was just looking at it, I was just like, wow, that's kind of crazy. Um, Also, what I thought was you know, I'm not sure if this is true, so I didn't want to present this to you guys, but I'm hearing DDG, he announces like a split with I believe her name is Holly. Look, I wouldn't push that because I wouldn't push that in the forefront, just knowing that it could be a possibility that this could be just a whole just maybe just a for now thing. And I don't think, I mean, they make a great couple. I don't want to see them break up. They just have recently had a baby. I just think that that play right there. I don't want to. I want to wish them good vibes. Let's wish them good energy and just try to get them. Maybe they can work things out. It's not every time you go through something that you have to completely cut things off and just run your opposite ways. So there's always a possibility. I'm hoping they can get it and work it out. And I wouldn't just say they automatically split. Sometimes things are just taken way too far out of our reach, and people just start going for the worst situation. So I'm just hoping that that's not true, because there's a baby involved, and once you have your kids involved or have any kids involved and you're trying to build a family, what's the sense of turning around? There's nothing back there. You might as well keep pushing forward, and whatever hurdle comes towards you guys, try to get over it together, man. Just try to get over it together. That's all I can say on that, man. Another thing, Garth Brooks, he's facing sexual assault allegations. It's a lawsuit. There's so many of that stuff going around in entertainment. It's just so crazy. And not only that, it's a lot of that spilling over into the communities too. I'm seeing a lot more sexual crimes. So this stuff is what we're all dealing with as a society. And I feel like, if you were a person of the past that did that to somebody, don't automatically think that they don't have the right to step up, because that's the times we're living in now. People are trying to step up because the trauma that they've been holding back all these years, they're sick and tired of it and they want to move on with their life. So seeing people come up now because of how we are, this whole climate with the Diddy and everything, I'm not surprised, and I'm just hoping everybody out there, healing energy, sometimes people could, you can see, you could meet the dark side of a person and never get to meet the good side of a person. It's a shame, but sometimes it's just, it's the times we're living in, and it's just the energy that's going around that people can get attracted to, when you can just avoid all of that and just, attract people that you can love on instead of hurt, is what I say. Another thing, I've been seeing this going around. Let's talk about it. Let's really talk about this whole Jaguar, right? I've been seeing her name pop up even more now, more than ever. I'm seeing her name pop up more than when they were saying, with the conspiracies and things. And my whole take on it is, I do see a lot of, I seen a post saying that, on Jay-Z's Instagram is flooded with a whole bunch of comments talking about Diddy. And my whole thing is, if you think Jay-Z or whoever people that y'all want to be a part of this was a part of this, don't you think that they would have pulled that up by now? Don't you think that? I think this is the same type of energy that was going on, and I know I'm not mixing the two, but this is the same type of energy that was going on between the Drake and the Kendrick. Yeah, there was some people in there just for the battle, but there was also other people outside of this whole thing just wanting to see destruction. This is what I always explain to you guys. When two good people are fighting, a bad person that loves a fight is only going to see a fight. So at the end of the day, I look at it like, stop pushing and putting people's name in these situations that could, be detrimental to their life. If I don't care how you feel about a person or what you might have heard, if the information you have is not, you don't have any truth or any place where you can pinpoint and see these allegations or on paper. If you don't have any of that stuff, don't be just throwing people's name in there. It's disrespectful, and people don't know how to conduct themselves and be, you have to hold some kind of responsibility. That's what I always tell people. I've seen even some of the news press do things, and I'm like, that was a little too much. That was just a little too much. There's a responsibility in everything you do. And just throwing people's names in the fire just because you want to or you have some gripe about them, I don't know if that's the best thing to do. Now, if you have information on somebody that you want to present to the people and put that, just do that. But don't just throw people's name in there, because especially when you're dealing with like situations like this is causing this man his life. So I wouldn't just throw names up like that just because you think, or you just have you've seen somebody's page with it. I don't think that's right. I think we should wait to see if they did say that they have a lot of celebrity names on the Diddy list. Now, if those names come up on the list, and that's when you can say, you know what, da 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 da. But don't just automatically just pick up and say, oh, Jay and Beyonce and this and that is a part of it, because that's not right. They're already dealing with their own little things going on too. And I don't think they had anything, and I don't think they would do something like all this demonic stuff that Diddy was doing. So not only is it disrespectful, it's kind of like embarrassing to with their kid. People have families here, and they're not the only ones watching. There's a lot of other people watching too. So we as content creators, even though sometimes we can get overboard, we still got to hold that responsibility on the things that we're going to be presenting to our people. What's up, y'all? That's a fact. Jesus is king. God is the creator. We all know this, man. This is how we wake up today, and this is how we got here with this good energy, man. This is how we get to figure things out with a better understanding, because we have a clearer mindset than the other people out there just going blindfolded into life. That's where we at with it. And I was just telling them, if you just came in, it's just about people, putting things on other celebrities' names and things like that, just for the simple fact of trying to gain views. That's not what this is about. You guys know that. I never jumped on here and said, oh, I want a whole bunch of views. I always tell you guys, it's about you guys, the viewers. And it's about your opinions and your comments on things that help me grow as a channel and help me grow as a person. Because I tend to see that, like, people's opinions before, well, it was like all of this big group opinion, but I'm starting to understand now that people have different opinions, and people are starting to express their real self in these times. And I love what's going on. I love the energy that's going on, and it's gonna put us in a better place. It might be a place where it feels a little more strict, because it's a little more, you have to have more responsibility. and structure, but it's going to be better in the long run for us, all of us, all of us, all of us. Trust me when I tell you, because at the end of the day, everybody has feelings. And regardless if that person is famous or not, if somebody is hurt and somebody puts out a helping hand to help them, that's a good person trying to heal another a victim. Instead of somebody just saying, you see somebody hurt and you just try to go with the crowd and just try to beat them down. Beating somebody down and all that demonic energy is never ever going to get you anywhere. We're trying to lift people up, not just put them down, because putting people down is what Diddy did and all these other people in the industry that tried to be this form of gatekeeper. See, what people don't understand about gatekeeping, this gatekeepers come in many forms. People think that a gatekeeper could be a person that just hold them back for whatever their contracts they wanted to get into the rap industry. But gatekeepers are also people that paint a different picture about a person to the people that could be detrimental in elevating or getting that person to the next level. And when you paint pictures about people, lies about people, it falls back on you, the person that painted that picture, because the energy of that person will live on. No matter all the people that he or she comes in contact with, will always remember that person for that energy. So when somebody else comes with that other form of saying that, I'm talking about that person, what happens is that these people know that person for who he actually is or she actually is. And then that turns around and that energy steers back to that person. And all that bad energy starts to filter in the person that harbored it, that kept that inside thinking that. Because nobody else around them, holds that energy. When you hold that type of stuff, it hurts you. It really hurts you. You got to open your mind up to the truth and open your mind up to people that see things a little clearer than others. Let me see. Another thing I wanted to bring to you guys. Did you guys hear about... This is going to be going around. So there's a TikTok star that killed a 69-year-old guy. And his name is Mr. Prada. Number one, it was a bad choice in name, Prada. But, his name is Mr. Prada, and he murdered this guy. He wrapped him up in like a trap in like 400 miles away. He tried to hide the body. Look, to the youth out there that's up to no good, hurting people, harming people, you don't get away with it in these times. So when you're thinking about, is it really that worth it to you to take somebody's life just for the law or the authorities to take yours, or somebody else that knows that person and want to defend his life? Is it worth it? It's not worth it. If that person hasn't did anything to you, there's so many other ways you can resolve your problems. You could have resolved that problem of just bettering yourself in life, but nobody wants to take that route because it feels like that route is a longer way to go. Well, just actually jumping out there and pulling out the gun and doing whatever you have to do and hiding the body, all of that energy could have did something else with yourself. Now that same energy got you in prison. It's not even worth it. I mean, it's you guys really, it's out in Texas. You guys got to really check. It's sad out here, because not only that, that's the part that scares people about the laws, the gun laws and things like that. And that's understandable. But we have to come to a point to realize the ages. We have to keep a chart of the ages that's misusing these weapons and how are they using these weapons. From every age has a different way they're going to be using the weapons. Once you put it on a chart, you start to realize maybe early 20s might be using it in a defensive way or in a robbery way, whereas when the older they get, they might use it more in a protective way. So there's things that you can just see out of these situations when it comes to gun violence, how these outcomes are turning out. I mean, come on. Back on this whole Diddy party, I feel like this weekend is going to be a whole weekend full of Diddy information. I just feel that way, because it feels like every Friday we get a little tad of information, and then right into the weekend things start spilling out, and it's like a dissect point at that time, and we're just seeing what's going on. It's crazy. I'm hearing now that I'm not sure, but of course the Kardashians were going to be at a Diddy's party, but what we have to understand, we can't just start pointing the finger at every single person. We have to look at it like it's the after party, the Diddy after party. Say after party. It's not the party. It's the party after the party. It's one of those type of situations. Don't think that it's just going to be people that just because you went to the party, you're going to be just locked up. Now, if you went to the party and you seen what was going on, or you have some kind of, knowledge of what was going on with these, whatever who was there, younger females or whatever drink in the drinks, that's when you're a part of this case. That's how that really turns out. Another thing that is tricky, and I have to be very careful with the way I talk about this, but I'm gonna just speak from how I feel about this whole situation. And I want to let me see. John Amos. For those who don't know, the father in Good Times. I know sometimes that might not take you all the way to Good Times, but he was also in Coming to America too. He was the father in Coming to America. That's a little more recent for people to have a little understanding. He had recently passed away, but now it seems like I've seen a few things like on TMZ and things that saying something, like it was almost staring towards like, people are really with it could be I don't want to say it wrong, but it could be his death could be questioned, in other words. And it looks like, it could be some foul play involved. I'm not sure, but it just does something doesn't sound right, because the last time I seen him, he was recovering out of the hospital and he looked like he was on the up and up. And it seems like behind the scenes, his daughter as well as his son, they had this little back and forth about him. And I heard even that the will changed when he passed away, and all these things, it's all attached to money. And when it comes to that, it's the greed. People, they don't understand that the money is not going to replace him. And some people are just selfish enough to just have that, because when somebody passes away, I know you have to get yourself together, your family together, and start organizing, the money for funerals and just things that you have to pay for. But I don't think that will be the first thing that snaps in your head. Oh, let's change the will. That shows that there was a fight and tussle over, and some kind of some kind of back and forth between them. And that's a sad thing when you're a family. And that's why I always tell you guys, a lot of people say legacy this, legacy that, but you have to know how to pass on your dreams to somebody else, to make it a part of their dreams, to make it continue on to be a legacy. And just passing money down throughout the family, if the family is not the right people that can handle it and live the legacy on, well, then at that point, that it was like well lived, and you kind of cut the losses right there, because the people, then your family probably wouldn't have enough strength or enough knowledge to live that legacy on. And it's sad, because a family fighting over a person's money, and really you could just say a person's accomplishments, you could just tell that the family wasn't as tight knit. His family is probably tighter on the Good Times show than it was actually in real life. It's sad. But we all go through that sometimes. We all go through things that people might think, oh, everything is so perfect in somebody's life and their family is just out of whack. I did a few videos on different type of, bad parenting and things like that. Some people come from different type of backgrounds, and sometimes their parents have been going through it a certain way, and that's the only way they know how to raise their kids. And the rough and tough way, and just do what you got to do way, is the only way they know how to do it. So, you just try to, because it's going to come. That's why I always tell you, there's a training wheel point in your life where you have to take whatever people told you it was about and start doing the research for yourself. Become the man or the woman that you want to be, instead of having people just, like keep inserting information in you like a damn computer for you to live this life of what people have structured for you. That's all I'm saying with that whole, it's just something about his whole situation doesn't seem right. And I know they'll probably get to the bottom line of it, because nowadays when it comes to social media, you're going to have more and more people that can stay on the research. And like how in the movies you used to see the cops, like it's getting late and it's time to go home and they'll be back in the morning to jump back on the case. Well, in these times, it's kind of like social media is like an ongoing. It's almost like a 24 hours of information on the clock, just going, and then it filters out, and then you pick out the stuff that that seems, or you have more evidence, or you think is most likely to be true. And information in these times are being, it's being gathered a lot more faster. So people getting away with crimes and doing things to people, God forbid if that's the case, yeah, it will be discovered. That's just how it works. I don't think it's going to be easy to get away with things in these times, especially anything they're doing that has technology attached to it, any weapons or anything like that, you're most likely gonna get caught. Most likely. And this is nothing to laugh at. You know, I know we see a lot of memes and things going around, but I'm hearing Russell Simmons. He had failed to pay a $3 million, $3 million settlement owed to a woman for physical injuries. Now, things like that. It's just, you know, this industry, you can just tell the way it started from back in the days, and there's a lot of things implemented in the industry that kept going on for years and years, and it was just being tolerated. It's sad. I don't know, man. Ben did the dip. I see a lot of memes on it, and I could laugh, but you know, it ain't a damn thing funny, man. It ain't really funny. It's only funny when the information is kind of loose and you don't really know if it could be true. We're just taking a guess at it from just speculations on his character. But when you start to see things add up and stuff like that, that's when the seriousness comes in, because then that's when you never get to see the victims until they're growing up that type of energy to come out to, you know, and tell the public. But nah, I don't really, you know, it's a nasty business. And for everybody that made it out of this alive and made it out with no, you know, none of this stuff on their shoulders, they didn't have to do anything to anybody, God bless y'all, because the people y'all were surrounded, the Diddy's, the Russells, the, you know, the Weinsteins, and the R. Kellys, and the Mysticals, and the list goes on and on and on and on. These people had problems in their life, and they brought that to hip hop and included that in hip hop, and it became it became like a genre, a small genre of a culture within itself. And that whole gatekeeper nonsense culture that they have going on, that's one of the things that almost killed hip hop. I don't want to say hip hop is dead, but I'm saying it almost killed hip hop. Just not letting in the right people with the right talent that would uplift the culture, and just letting in people that would just, you know, deal with it and just being there for the hustle. This is what made the unbalance, and it's starting to look like, because, you know, it was a time where, you know, people think that there's a balance in hip hop now, but I don't feel so, because I feel like it's more deaf music, and there's more music that has like a fighting sense to attach to it, like a me versus you attached to it, than there is a come together music, or just music. Just it doesn't have to be, you know, like overly righteous, but just have a more positive vibe to it. I feel like there's more music on the airwaves and in front of our face that's more negative than positive, and that's a problem. It's like, why do we have to dig for good music, and why do we have the bad music right in our face? Like, why do we have to dig for good music when we know how fast information and how fast music is being consumed? It makes the music even harder to find, digging, looking for, you know, it comes a point where I feel like if we don't have somebody that can at least say, this is where that goes, this is where that goes, or structure it, it's just going to be all over the place. It's going to be all over the place. Another thing I wanted to talk about too, I hear people talking about, you know, they snub Beyonce with the country and the, you know, when it comes to Beyonce, and I always love Beyonce for always trying new things and trying to, you know, just, she's always trying to, like, she's always keeping up with the vibe, always keeping up with the, and when it comes to trying to be a part of something that you might not be getting your just due or recognition in, or maybe you feel comfortable in there and these people are just talking and saying this stuff for you, because that can happen too. I've never heard that come out of Beyonce's mouth saying, well, I've seen articles, but for Beyonce to come out and to say that, oh, they did this to me, I don't think that doesn't even sound like her. It doesn't sound right. And I do feel like sometimes when it comes to like awards and things like that, yeah, there's always some sort of, like a little extra push for somebody who they feel that but at the end of the day, I look and I sit back and I say, you know what? You gotta have that rebel sense of energy in you to know that you conquered. She conquered. She always conquers. She always conquers. Like, she always, when she sets foot in a place, her presence is felt. And once your presence is felt, no awards and anything is more valuable than that. Your presence is worth more, and people feel you and feel and love your music for what it is and what it did for people, and it opened people up to a new genre. A lot of people probably ain't even going back to what they used to love just because you took a different route of it and did something more dearer to your heart and the way you grew up. And people love that. But I just don't like to see my people like just wanting to get accepted when you are the one that when you step in the room, you're the queen of the wherever you go. So it doesn't matter if she doesn't get this award or be on that billboard list or this. It doesn't really matter, because as long as you leave those moments and your hard work in the hearts of people and they love your music, it really doesn't matter about awards. It's not really a big deal. How many Grammys and all these things that you have is not really, like, I can't really look at a Grammy and feel a memory of how great you made me feel. No, I would have to look at what you did, your work. So it's all about what you leave within the people and in their hearts. That really is the Grammy for all musicians. It's really like all musicians have a Grammy to leave in with people. It's not about what people say, oh, you're worth it. No, you already know when you put those words to the paper, you was worth it when you started then. So I don't like just looking. If people don't want, like, for example, if people don't want to accept me in a certain place, well, I'm gonna find a place where I'm best accepted at. I don't want to push my way into a place where people don't want me there. Even if then they finally see the real me and really accepting of the real me, I would still feel uncomfortable that welcoming wasn't what it was. So hey, you're always going to be the queen you are, and wherever you go, and your fans will always love you for the things you do. So it doesn't matter. And when I see people, not, because I even, it takes me back to like when they was snubbing Nas and things like that for the Grammy Awards. And I was like, wow, like the man put down so much work, that so much substance and so much artistry in his projects, and for them to just snub it and just not see that, I just knew from, certain points made me say, maybe they are not as sharp as I thought they was. Maybe their taste for the music that's a little more sharper than the rest. They don't know how to figure that out. Maybe it's just a show. Maybe it's just something that it's their way of giving people flowers and making money at the same time. Maybe the feelings that we thought that was in that Grammy is not really in the Grammy. It's in the heart of how we feel about the artist. And from that point on, it's kind of like you don't have to pay attention to all of that. It doesn't make sense to. I don't really want, you never ever, it never feels good where you have to try to grab your flowers. No, never do that. Never try to grow your seed in a place where the soil don't want you around. You go find your own soil and you build on the soil that best suits you. And you'll have your tree will grow way taller than that, because now your tree can see it and bring people around, bring other trees will grow around it that feel the same way, instead of just going with other trees are going to try to push you out the way. It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, man, it makes sense. So yeah, man, it's Friday. I'm chilling, man. A little behind this morning, but I want y'all to just hang in there with me. Oh, another thing I seen too, I thought of this, and some people are just so quick to be so trying to do these memes and be so funny on this whole Diddy situation, that it becomes more, it's really more serious than a joke. Now I'm hearing now Cassie, she was hurt behind all the jokes about the baby oil and this and that. Number one, we do not know if it was baby oil or what was in the baby oil. If the baby oil had to do with the, whatever liquid cocaine they had. We don't know what was the mix of what. That could be a whole keys and keys of baby oil. And people making jokes like, him having baby. I understand. I can see where the joke can form from. Once you hear baby oil, but we also have to understand this is a real situation. There's real victims in here. She's hurt behind it. She doesn't like the fact that, and there's gonna be people like, oh, what? But look, listen. At the end of the day, these are the people that actually have to deal with these situations. These are the people that have to go through it. You know, just because they have been paid off or whatever people might think doesn't mean that that hurt is not still there and that monster is not in their memory. So keep that in mind, because I mean, jokes are jokes at the end of the day, but reality is reality. And the fact that you could see somebody's hurt behind that, you could imagine all the other victims that's scared to even come out, and just looking at social media, they are even more hurt. You got to look at it like that, because Cassie, she has a little more tougher skin as we know it, because she stepped up. But there's a lot of other victims that didn't even have that type of skin and have that type tough skin to even step up. So you could imagine the hurt that they're still dealing with. And then we have other people that's been through this from other celebrities that we didn't even hear about yet, that's sitting there like, you know what, I'm gonna build up the energy that didn't even come to get to that point yet where they want to be make it social or put it on social media. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Whether we hide it or we are scared to admit it, there is a lot going on, and it all surrounds these same types of allegations. Same types of allegations. It's sad, but that's what it, I guess, from all the over sexualization, all of the just the free time to do whatever you think you can do to people that look up to you, it became to a point people started taking advantage. People started taking advantage. It leads you in a bad place. And let me tell you, time goes so fast. Time can go so fast. So 15 years, especially on drugs and all that stuff, can go with that thing will feel like a few months after a while, for real. So you got to be mindful of what's going to alter your frame of mind and make you skip out the main details about life that can get you tripped up. Seriously. Um hold on 1 second, you guys. Yeah, but that DDG, I hope that's not, I hope that really is not, the case. I think they make a great couple. I think they didn't. I don't think they experience. This is just from me. I don't really keep up with many people in relationships and things like that. I'm not like the one like all glued to their relationship. But if it ain't something that you can, I mean, there's always, you could always get over things. Trust me. Relationships go through a lot more. I'm thinking about surprise. I'm thinking about dropping an extra video for you guys today. I might drop another video today or tomorrow. So I want you guys to look out for that. Oh, how can I forget, you guys? Did you guys see Eminem's new video talking about his daughter? I cannot forget. Shouts out to Eminem, dropping meaningful music, dropping music that can, at least touch people's heart and showing the real side of life and how it, man, you guys got to really check the video out. If you were into or heard Eminem's music and you ever went through a body of work, you will always hear him speak on his daughter. And this is like to me, it felt like a sum up of his daughter then till now, and him just expressing his feelings as a father, and just watching her go off to, I don't want to spoil the video, but watching her, fall in love and go off to where she has to go. So, it's that music like that this is the reason why certain music lasts longer than other music. Because when you, in other words, tailor the music to your life, now the music becomes more personal. Now the music becomes more of a one of one, and now people could connect with you a little deeper than just everybody joining in and they have no connection within the song but the hook. This is what we need to see more from artists. Like, just telling, like, even if you're gonna be with all these situations going on in hip hop right now, instead of just jumping on social media and putting up a tag on X or putting up a tag on Instagram or me, make a song out of it. How you feel, the way you feel about whatever situation you're going through, and maybe that can make a better song, a better connection. Always think about connection when you're trying to put something out to the public you want people to buy from you or you want people to listen to, try to think of connection. Don't try to just think of just the numbers all the time and the views going up, because some people are just looking in to see what other people are looking at, So it's just, you got to know how to like kind of put things in its right place. That in other words, man. That's all I'm saying. Great song by Eminem. Great song by Eminem. Another person that dropped another song that I did pass by, I believe it was Ghostface and Meth. They got a dope song, and what I do remember about the song was that they kind of did like how Meth and Big did their collabo together. This sounds like that. So I'm gonna revisit that this week, and I got a few songs I gotta put on the playlist. But that song was dope too. Like, like how Big said, I got more things in text to you, I make it hot. Niggas wouldn't be able to stand next to you. Him and Ghost did their own. So I seen that and I'm like, I gotta go check that back out. I'm gonna definitely check that back out. So people still dropping. People still dropping. Um, what else? What else? Okay, hold on. Damn, everything is Diddy, huh? Everything is Diddy. What can I tell you? It's a big situation. I can't sit here and tell you that people don't, people are so locked in on this Diddy situation that I'm talking about. Even if they switch his sandwich bun, people would know. People are locked in, and it's the simple fact of how this whole thing ended up. I feel like a lot of people, it's the surprise of people not knowing people not having an inkling on how he was. The surprise in that makes people say, what? How could I miss that? It's not that how could you miss it? It was there for you to miss. Deception in hip hop is not something that's going to be dead in your face. It's something that happens behind the scenes, and it kind of travels over into the artist. Depending on if the artist was hurt by it, they start turning into hurting their fans, deceiving their fans. A lot of times in the past, when the artist got like a bad deal or a bad contract or something was going down, you know, not everybody spoke on it, but some people will. You can see it in the artist, and things will change, and then there'll be like this back and forth, and then people were forced to at least give better contracts and get things done the right way because their names depended on it. Nowadays, it's more like the record labels, they're dying out. The artists, I feel like they're better off not being on these labels and not being connected to these people, because the strings that they have attached to you can take all your money out of your bank, your YouTube, whatever promotion you have on yourself. It's almost like a 360 what they do to these artists. So I feel like not having a record deal in these times and just having maybe the things that maybe a record deal surrounds outside of a record deal, you will win. You will win. And when it comes to like marketing, how the record labels, they'll over market artists and make them get in front of, put them in places where other people can't reach on their own. In these times, those places are not really as valuable as the places that you can reach. Like having your music YouTube, and go into these different podcasts. You can visit these different podcasts that do cover hip hop, and you can still get your word out and your music out through the people to that way. So it's going to be a lot of changes coming forward in 2025. My personal take on it, I don't make music. I am a writer, but I don't make music. And for the artists coming up, I would say try to find a place where you can find your ownership outside of hip hop with your stuff. In other words, if you guys can understand what I'm saying, find your ownership outside of hip hop, so you can always have something stable to stand on, just in case something doesn't work. You still have ownership in something, whether it's the name you want to carry on, maybe make it into an app or do something outside. Try to do it that way, because if you, in the reverse way, if you try to sign to these record labels, down to your name, they try to own it and everything. So by the time you get out of a lot of these deals, they still have these parts ownerships that you have to damn near change your name just to get yourself clear from all the nonsense they got you connected to. So you want to really take heed in the people that you want to build with, and the people that you could see in, a few years going up the hill. But for all the artists out there, don't think that having a record deal, it's not really the cool thing to do in these times. Like, and back in the day, having a record deal, it was looked upon as something, oh, you made it. But having a record deal in these times, it looks like it says you made the wrong decision, you know? So you want to be, you really want to find yourself in it. Once you learn ownership in anything, you'll always be successful. Because the way I look at it is like, say me, like, yeah, I do clothes and it's a passion project. And the reason why I say passion project is not like saying I can have enough money to market against Nike, but it's just saying the people I connected to, I have a small community I build with you guys. But at the end of the day, the difference between a passion project and something that you want to have ownership and start a business, it's the demand. If it's a passion project, is when they get to it or when they understand or see it, they might like it and we can start building from there. A business without a passion project is something more like oh, I know, a food truck. People need this. This is a service I can put in this community where they can, and you can start with your culture. Okay, I'm Bayesian. Let me bring some Bayesian, let me get some Bayesian culture, food, some dishes. That's how a business starts. So you can at least see yourself in the next 10 years and where you can take it. A passion project, you can't really put out that trajectory because you don't know who's coming in as you go. So there's a little difference between that. And those are the things that separate. So one is something that can possibly take off, and they're both independent. One is possibly something that can take off and take you somewhere you never know where you're going to land. And another one is more, you have to like have a blueprint for it and build it all the way through. So you have to have like a little more GPS on your journey for like food trucks and things like that. But you can also calculate it pretty good too, things like food trucks and things. Those things are so, like barbers and all that, like maybe just like how they have Uber. There's so many ways where you can put whatever you're doing on wheels and take it out there and make a profit. But you have to have the energy, you have to have the dedication, and you have to want to do it. If you don't have that type of stuff, then it's not for you. Or you can put people to work in position to do that. Then the whole structure for you, your dream out of that would be building a business to bring it to the top, and you put workers in place. And it takes a different type of leader to do these type of things. Not everybody, some people might just have that boss mentality, but they might not have that leadership mentality. And I feel like leaderships make the business grow, and bosses just help bring in money to the business. They help like calculate the money and keep the money growing. But leaders, they help the business grow as a company. And that's what we need in these times. A lot of people, it's not really about having a legacy anymore, I don't feel. Even though as sad and bad, as crazy as that sounds to me, it's not really about having a legacy. It's more about having a life within your life, a life that you can leave back for another life. And that's the difference between a legacy and that is it doesn't have to carry on. Like if you're have a small family and you're leaving something back for somebody that's not responsible, it'll never move on. But if you leave something back, like something that, like, helps all people, like you have a water, or let's just say like you have a brand out there that helps people, maybe like I don't know, I just to throw something out there, maybe like you have your own water out there, and after people are still gonna need the water whether you're here or not. So that's gonna be an ongoing legacy that no matter who's in charge of that, the story will live on. The story will always live on of the person that started it. So whoever continues it, they add on to the story. But if it's something that you have to be present and you have to be there hands on and telling people this is where you see the company going, it's going to end with you. People have their dreams too, You don't want to put your dreams so heavy on somebody else's. People have their dreams too. That's why people say with legacy, they leave it back with their family, and whatever their family chooses to do, whatever, sell it, you just, it is what it is. That's why legacies, don't think that you have to have the most money to have these legacies. Legacies really live through story, not money. Don't let nobody fool you. People like to tell you, oh, legacy is the money, this and that. No, legacy is lived through stories. For years and years, from the Bible times, legacy lives through stories. It had no money attached to it until we came here and put that. I mean, it's not hard to understand that if I tell you something and it holds there in your heart, nobody can take that book away from you. That's inside of you. That's what I told you, and we had story lives longer than a piece of paper that you can just burn and sell or buy anything with. That's not how, it really is not, it's not about that. It's not about that. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X didn't have no app, did they? They didn't have no app. No, they didn't have none of that. They didn't need none of that. They had a message. They had a message that would carry on all the way up till now, 2020. The message still lives on. That's the story. That's the energy behind it. Nobody can take that away from you. You don't need hands to write this type of legacy. You need this. Life as we know it right now has changed, and we don't know if it's for the better or if it's for the worse. But what we could say is that it's changing, and we're gonna have to adapt to it somehow. And the only way to adapt to something in the fastest and safest way is uniting. What's up, y'all? Zoe, what's goody? Love all y'all, man. On a cool out today. I'm not in the shade, but I'm drinking lemonade. But yeah, you know, I was talking to somebody and I was saying, you know, this Diddy stuff, it weighs in heavy on a lot of people's hearts, because not only does the evidence keep piling up, but people are reliving this stuff. And if you haven't been through it, or know somebody that's been through any of this type, any abuse, you know, it puts you in a place where it's not good energy. And you have to be a certain type of person and have a certain type of mental strength to know how to deal with these type of situations when you see them on social media, and don't let it spill over into your life, as far as like how these people treat other people and get over, and other people step on his toes, crabs in the barrel mentality, and all that nonsense stuff. You can be good to people that make a lot of money too. You don't gotta be the person out there just always down on people and stuff like that. Nah, you don't have to be that way. After a while, you feel like you got a whole, you don't want to live like that. Running around like I got a whole bunch of enemies. You got a whole bunch of people that hate you. Why that? Why? What'd you do? What made you get a whole bunch of people that hate you? Like, what made you, I can understand somebody come on here and crack a joke, or laugh at maybe what I'm wearing, or laugh at how I look, or that's human stuff. But I mean, for somebody to say an enemy and want to do something to you or your family, what'd you do? What are you doing that harbors that type of energy? And what are you doing on here? Go handle that. Honestly. Take life a little more serious, you know? Somebody posts a threat to you, you're going to jump back on social media and ha kiki. And no, you got to handle your business however you handle your business. Everybody has their different ways of, securing themselves. And you gotta be like that way in these times. New York is a big place, you know? This is not a place for like the games. Like this is a serious place, man. It's out here. People are, you see people laughing and joking, but this is a place where you gotta make it. It's not the no more make it here, make it anywhere. No, you gotta make it here. If you don't make it here, where you gonna go? It's gonna be just as hard as any other place too. Everybody is, it's a big world, but we going through the same struggles in different places. Whether it be a mental struggle, whether it be a financial struggle. It could just be little things that strike people's mind that make them think different or do something that probably is not in their best interest, man. Don't you know how many people, I put up a video, man. I'm gonna do a new one to it, but it was just about the teachers. I spoke about like it's so many teachers quitting, not being compensated the right amount of money for their work. In these classrooms, some of the kids are just, they have family issues, and they're bringing them right into the classroom. And now the teacher, even if they're a math teacher, they have to turn into this like semi-psychologist, and it becomes an environment that you can't even handle. It starts taking a toll on their mental. Some of these teachers can't take it. It's not their fault. And if we have the educational system on an old structure like how it is, what are we teaching the kids? You would think by now that they restructure it and just make it better. Just make it better. It's not about making it easier to learn. It's about making what they're teaching better. And teachers are fed up with the old structures and the old, it's just they have to restructure everything in the educational system, man, for real. Not only is it learning is on a faster rate, the kids have to adapt to that. They don't know any other way. They don't know the way that we came up. They're just kids. So they're going to be quicker to adapt to this faster paced learning. But if the curriculum and all these things are just old school and they're not even up to date, then it's going to be some kind of problem within that. Come on. Come on. You mean to tell me out of a whole school year, they can learn more in a Chat GPT app than a whole school year of knowledge? There's something wrong with that. We have to, either you're going to have to implement that within the classrooms, or you're going to have to try to find things outside of what the curriculum's having it to teach the kids to keep them coming back and keeping their minds up to date. You can't keep their minds on that old stuff, man. Come on now. We have to really change the school system and the educational system, man. A lot of they giving all this bogus. A lot of these people, they know more about Christopher Columbus than they know about Malcolm X. Don't you see a problem in that? It's no more of the Santa Claus and all this nonsense talk, man. You got to really start teaching the stuff that's going to be really, that's going to be detrimental to it's going to be the stuff that's going to stick with these kids from the rest of their life. Instead of the stuff that they was like, oh, remember how they used to do math like this? No, no. Anything with the math math used to be up here, but now that we have social media, it's more calculated. Somebody could figure it out just from calculation. It's not the same. So once they get a restructure on that, that's when I feel like the youth will have a different way, and it'll catch up their pace of learning, and they'll want to learn and love learning and want to build their mindset and want to grow and learn more new things when everything is structured on something new. Man. The educational system has to be upgraded like them, like iPhones. Like how the iPhone switch it has to. I mean, I'm telling you, that's how time is moving like that. And there's a lot of information out there that can benefit people from a young age that can be understood, and it can change the world. But if you're keeping on this old school regimen of education, it is keeping them stagnant. It's like holding them back until they can get out on their own, and now they got to search to learn the stuff for themselves to get into these positions that they want to get into. Come on now. Those degrees are like dinosaur pictures when you put them in front of these kids nowadays, because they don't serve for anything. They can take that into any of these work environments. Like all of these, they got a lot of startups and things like that out in San Francisco. You think they can take that and that's going to be worth something? They're going to look at you like you're crazy. Come on now. Hackers are getting more props than graduates. Are you kidding me? I'm telling you the truth. Damn, man. Come on now. America, we can do better than that. As people, we can all do better than that. There's always going to be things like racism and he's better than him or she's better than her, but we leave that stuff for the idiots, and we try to stick to the things that's going to really benefit us as a whole, and we'll be all right. When it comes down to the president, there's a whole bunch of back and forth, but that argument it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time going back and forth for what sense does it make me arguing with you over the decisions you make? Does that make sense? No. It's your decision to make. Whatever decision you make and you feel like it's right for your family or whatever, however you come to the decision, it might be right for the world or your situation. That's the decision you make. I'm not getting in your business unless you make it my business. That's how it's supposed to go. I don't jump on here saying, oh, I'm mad at them because they're voting for them. No, everybody has their reasons for what they do. And you trying to figure out everybody else's reasons for what they do is just going to block you from understanding your life and the reasons of your life. Come on now. You don't get yourself caught up with that. It's like the only time we all human, so a little bit of nosiness, we all got a little bit of that, but only get nosy when it's stuff that's beneficial. Don't get nosy in everybody's business, man. It ain't even worth it. Like, I understand if something hit on the news and you're like, wow, He's sleeping with her and he's getting locked up. That's different. That's public information. But when you're looking and sneaking in somebody's mailbox, it don't, come on now. Get off of that nonsense. Get off of that weirdo stuff, man. That's weirdo energy. I don't pay attention to none of that stuff. I get that out of my life, out of my mind, all that stuff. Nah. That's why I'm like, I see some people just throwing names into the fire, like, but this whole Diddy. You think people want to hear that name around this stuff? People don't want to hear that, man. People do not want to hear their name around it. They don't even want to hear their name attached to it. I feel like a lot of these content creators don't know. They don't take the responsibility out to see what they can say and what they can't say. And a lot of them are going to be finding themselves in places getting sued. We've seen it happen already. And celebrities are people too. It's not like they don't know who they suing. They look at you and see that you're talking bad on them right there in front of their face, and you expect them to say have some sympathy for you because they're celebrities. No, they're people too. So you got to be very careful how you speak on somebody. If you don't have the proper information, don't just rush out there just to get it out there first. Does that even make sense to you? Now you're the one out there first and nobody put it. Now you're the only one out there. Now you're the one being sued like a fool. You don't know these people from a can of paint. Don't make up stories on people. It ain't right. Wait for the information. Give your opinions on it and you'll be just as fine. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be the first one out or the one with the most views. As long as you give your honest opinion and your honest take on what this of the seriousness of the information, nobody's going to be mad at what you say as long as you come from the heart. But a lot of these people, they're here for other things like views, jokes, and all this nonsense that don't make this. There's real victims in here. People joking around and thinking how it's not funny because you never know. It could happen to you. It could happen to me too. It could happen to anybody. So once you keep that in your mind, don't laugh at that people that's hurt. It ain't right. Try to draw some responsibility when you come online. And I'm not saying everybody's perfect, but like, come on now. You could do better than that. If there's a time for everything, if you're joking, then keep it a skit. Do what you got to do. You can do Diddy skits and do these type of things. But at the end of the day, there's also victims out there. You got to remember they're watching too, like, wow, that's how they taking it. So, you know, it's on you, man. I can't tell you what to do. I ain't nobody's boss, man. I'm only a few people's leader. So I ain't really telling people what to do and doing all of that. I'd rather get down in the mud and I'm going to help you out. So we all be doing it together instead of just telling people, pointing people what to do. No, it ain't the right thing, man. Don't go out there with that type of mindset. Because after this situation is over, that mindset will adapt to you and you're going to be looking for that mindset in everything you do. Everything you do. Trust me when I tell you that. Trust me. For real. A lot of these people are bad mind. Let me see something. Hold on. Today I'm be on my cool out. I might drop another video. I was iffy on dropping it. But it gives an explanation of some victims and just how their take on it, because I hear everybody, you know, the victims, they don't, a lot of them don't have the strength to speak up like that, but then a lot of them can. So I might be dropping that video today or tomorrow for you guys, but definitely be on the lookout. Right now I have out, let me see, hold on. Let me see what I have out right now. I have a few things out you guys could check. I know this is gonna be a good weekend for y'all. Okay, so I have, right now I just dropped this morning was the sugar babies and sugar daddies. So some females, they're quitting their jobs and they just rather go for somebody to take care of them. And you know how that sugar baby, sugar daddy stuff goes. And I gave people different takes on it. So you guys can go check that video out when this live is over. It's really good. Then I had another video for, shouts out to Abba, one of my chat tribes. I dropped the divorce video, so y'all could go check that out. There are people's different stories, and divorce could be like a hostage situation when you're with the wrong person. And yeah, so I got a few things out on the channel. You guys can you guys also got to check. I did a video, low energy versus high vibrational energy, low energy music, and just the differences between them. I put a video out, and I think it's a really good video. It's gonna pick up as the days come. That's what's been going on with my videos, like a few days, and it just picks up, and then everybody's watching it. But yeah, that video right there, just explaining the low vibration, high vibration, and just how that mindset gives people different thoughts, and it's so controlling. So I want you guys to really check that one out too. So I got about 4 videos you could say that you guys can really look into, and they're just things that make you just think and realize, you know, maybe you might have seen things a little different. These are the videos to watch for you guys. These are the videos that's going to take you through the weekend. I want you guys to check those out. But yeah, man, so I don't know, I'm going to keep it a little short for you guys, and I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. What else can I say? What more can I say, right? Well, I'll tell you what, I love you.